Greetings and salutations. It has been a while since I have posted up on YouTube. Things have been very busy with the end of the school year's things that need to be done. Things are settling down so I can get back to posting some things up on YouTube. Today this is an unboxing of an expansion pack for Gale Force 9's Tanks game. On this case here, we are looking at the Jacksons. This is an American tank, specifically a tank destroyer that came later on in World War II. But as I said, it's an expansion for Gale Force 9's tanks. However, really it's Battlefront who's manufacturing it. So, on the back, we got you can see the sprues, you can see the cards. So let's see what we have. So as you can see on the back of the original paper, you have the instructions on how to put it together. Now, one of the nice things about this is you have your choice of the M10 tank destroyer or the Jackson. Okay, I believe it's the M36. The difference between the two, while the hull is the same, the turrets are different. It turned out when the American tank destroyers were going through in Europe, they realized they needed something a little bit heavier to take on the heavier German tanks like the Panther. So thus the Jackson was born with a 90mm gun on there, and it was effective. Although there were American units that did, like the 644th Tank Destroyer Battalion, that did work with the M10s right up until the end of the war. But anyways, back to the unboxing. So this just gives you the quick instructions on how to do this. What I do regarding the turrets, I put in a tiny little magnet on the hull and on the turret. That's a nice way to do it, but you do get two tanks for the price of one. This is a good thing. And of course, because Battlefront basically makes the sprues, this is also a 15mm or 1/100th scale you can use for Flames of War. Okay, so our first sprue here, let you guys take a look at it. So essentially you have the hull, you have the bottom of the tank. What is great, I gotta commend Battlefront for this, is, you know, which track assembly goes on what side. It is virtually impossible to mess up on that one. Because you had one side where you had two slots, one side where you had three, as you saw, and then of course you have the bottom half of the turret. Now, what's really cool is also that on here, this would be the improvised armored top, because originally these tank destroyers were open-topped, and it does run the risk of exposing the crude enemy fire, so they improvised in the field some kind of armor protection on the top that would help out the crews. So here's the second sprue, where we get to see more of the turret assembly. We also get to see the track assembly as well. Nice crisp detail on there, I have to say. I do like these models. They're great for that. All right, now with every Tanks expansion, which costs roughly about $10, you also get the cards to go with it. But in addition to, you get a few little extra things here. So let's go with the cards. So on the one side you got the tanks game, but again you can use these. But on the other side here, now you have the M10 and then the Jackson. I don't know why they don't call it the M36, because that's what it is, because the M18 is the Hellcat, which is a different chassis altogether. But you can see the numbers there. Okay, they have the gung-ho American rule, but they also have the cautious rule, Okay, after shooting, if this tank has any damage points left, roll a die on a 4, 5, or 6, make a single move, and add 1 to its speed token, which would be in keeping with the doctrine of the tank destroyers: seek, strike, and destroy. Okay, let's take a look here in terms of cards. These are cards, these are crew upgrade cards. So we have here the Seek, Strike, and Destroy there for 2 points. The tank may reroll 1 cautious test per turn. We have a Defensive Driver. This is another one. This is the Defensive Driver, and that's 3 points. When rolling defense dice, you may reroll 1 dice. That's a useful one to have. Okay. This one is True Boy Scout. Okay. The True Boy Scout adds +1 to the initiative. So that's a 1-point upgrade card. Then you have the Doctrine, the best job I ever had. This tank may attempt to repair up to 2 critical hit cards each instead of 1. That's a 1-pointer. And then last but not least, we have a crew upgrade. This is, and I was surprised about this, this is the Audie Murphy card for 2 points. Now, Audie Murphy was not a tank guy. He was an infantry. And he started out as a private, and he was the most decorated soldier in the United States Army. And as far as I know, even to this day, he is the most heavily decorated soldier. So in his case, in the command phase, immediately before this tank is destroyed, discard all other crew and critical damage cards on this tank and make an attack with 3 dice. This is based off a real event where Audie Murphy single-handedly held off a German company. So that's pretty interesting that they give an Audie Murphy card, because that attack was for infantry and not tanks. But when they had asked him after that particular battle, why did he do what he did? And you'd have to read more about it. His answer was, they were killing my friends. Audie Murphy was a guy who did suffer from PTSD. In fact, he was a guy who brought that to the attention of the American consciousness, that unfortunately there is a price to pay when you go fighting in a war. Anyways, that being said, so for this kit, definitely I think it's worth it. You know, at least for the tank models themselves, you're really getting 2 tanks for the price of 1. That's really what you're doing. So that's a good thing. And I hope this review, this unboxing, has benefited you. Maybe it'll encourage you to go out and get the tanks game. You can check out my tanks video, like and subscribe. Take care, God bless, and have a good day.